What's up guys, Ray for Scalene Bandito. Tonight we're going to play some Hearts of Iron 4. Now, if you've played this game for maybe 5 minutes, you'll notice, wow, this is kind of easy. And you're going to be saying that because you went fascist, or you went communist, or maybe you played as a really big country. Well, we're going to do none of those things. See, tonight, there is no achievement for this, but we're going to create one. Now we're going to play in 1936, before anything happened. And we're going to play as Latvia. You guessed it. Now, the interesting thing about Latvia is that you got the Soviets to your right, you got the Germans to your left, and you're pretty weak. So obviously your first course of action would be to switch to one of those sides, but we're going to do exactly not that. We're going to stay neutral. Because we need a challenge, and I think there is nothing harder in this game than playing as neutral Latvia. I've tried a lot of stuff. I've tried Saudi Arabia, who has like one factory and one person living there. And I think he works in the factory. And that's kind of easy because you got a bunch of neutral people. You got Iran you can conquer. And you can go east, you can go west. And by the time you have this whole Middle East, you're as strong as a big power. And you can go to the Balkans. You can do whatever. Finland, I mean, they're pretty big. You could probably deal with the Soviets on your own. I mean, even the really small ones like this, you have a bunch of neutral stuff you can take over. But Latvia, all you really have is Estonia and Lithuania, and maybe Finland if you can survive long enough to naval invade. See, the thing is, you have a timer against the Soviets. At some point, they will declare on you. And you can only declare war as a neutral when the world tension is at 50%. And by then, Poland has already fallen, and the Soviets want your land. So what are you supposed to do? Well, let's find out. So as you can see, this is my 31st run at this. I have not succeeded once. I've done pretty well. There was one run where I pushed back the Soviets just on my own, but this far, up to Moscow, but then they just pushed back because I ran out of men. So, what are we going to do here? Well, we have until 1940 so we can start declaring war, and we're going to go after Estonia and Lithuania first, and then we're going to go north to Finland. That's the goal anyways. Maybe we can grab Poland while he's in the middle of a war with Germany, and maybe we can get some land. Maybe, but that's a long shot. See, the interesting thing about Poland is it'll take you 50 days to justify a war goal and to be able to declare on them, but the thing is, they always fall before that point. I don't think I've ever once marched into Poland as neutral Latvia. I mean, the Germans just beeline to Danzig and Warsaw, so that's not going to be our goal here, because it's probably not going to happen. So Lithuania, Estonia, and we're going to build tall. We only have so many men. Even if we conscript all our women, children, old people, even if we conscript everyone, we don't have enough men to deal with the Soviets. So we have to build tall, and we need to build tanks. A lot of really strong tanks. And the tanks that I'm talking about are SPGs. See, these things are really nice. Doesn't matter what kind of tank you got. Look at that soft attack. Look at that, 63, you got 56, you got 72. And that's just insane because the Soviets, they're all infantry. That's all damage to them. So we're just going to stack artillery, stack tanks with artillery, and maybe put some infantry in between if we can spare it. We kind of have to because we can't just do tanks on their own. Alright, so now that our plan's decided, what are we going to do? Alright, so we need research. We're going to obviously go for the same ones that you do every game, because it just makes sense. I mean, you have a lot of time in the start, and unless you go fascist, you want to go industry. We're going to go political effort to get some political power. I believe that's what it's called, yep. And we're going to start building infrastructure. See, the thing about this is we have a lot of time. And so we're going to build a lot of factories. And so it's worth it to build that infrastructure because it gives a speed bonus to construction. And we're going to keep upping the unlocked slots. So we're going to have maybe 5 more factories in each one. And building that extra infrastructure, it's not going to take any extra time because of this. And so the infrastructure is basically free. So we need to check, make sure we don't... Alright, so Vidzeme, we're getting 4 infrastructure, so we only need to build 1 there. And Kurzeme gets 2. So we built 3 in Kurzeme and 1 in Vidzeme. Did I get that backwards? I think so. Yes, I did. I can go ahead and fix that. I can find the tab. Okay, now we got some unassigned divisions. Make a commander. And we're just going to start exercising. And we're going to try to get as much experience as possible. So we're going to do some cheesy stuff because we need all the cheese we can get. Go ahead, up this speed. So what we're going to do, we're going to make a division with as many people in it as possible. Because I did the math, and it takes about... Alright, so if you add 1 slot here, and you start exercising it, you gain extra experience for having 1 more guy. And so if you fill up this whole thing, and you have your entire army exercising, you make a shit ton. And you actually make a profit in experience by doing that. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We have a lot of time. And we're just going to make sure. Okay. Build some civilian factories. Actually up this. I'd rather just build 1 province at a time, because the faster we can get the civilian factories up, the faster we can build everything else. And so right now we're just kind of waiting. We're going to get some political effort, get some political points, and then we're going to immediately get industrial concern. Get that research time up. Because we're beelining for industry. We want as many factories as possible, because we're going... We don't have the men for an infantry division. We can't spare any more men. So we need to build basically godlike divisions that can fight against hundreds of Soviets and not fall. So however we do that, it's what we gotta do. Alright. Looks like Germany is moving in. I'm gonna go to industry, we got our points. And we're gonna go down the industry tree. We're gonna go like this. We're gonna get secret weapons right away so we can get that faster research time, which is right here. So we're gonna grab this, and we can't do this because of the penalty of being ahead of time. But when we get that secret weapons, we can do this in like 100 years, and then it's worth it. That 3% becomes worth it. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and grab this right away. So the entire idea of this run is being efficient. We don't have the men, like I said. If you go fascist, you get an extra 7% manpower, and you can just basically do whatever you want. You can build horrible divisions of just men and shitty guns, and you can just overrun people. Even the Soviets, if you do it right. So we're not doing that. We're going to actually create a front line. Estonia is probably going to be first. Let's go ahead and get our offensive line here. Let's see, how does this work? So we kind of go like this, right? That's how it works. Okay, we're going to get some more space. Okay, we got the Civil War. Tension's at 8%. It's pretty high this quickly. Okay, get some more civilian factories. And now we basically wait. We try to build everything. Get our provinces as tall as possible. They're going to be, each one of these, Kurzeme and Vidzeme, they're both going to be like Berlin. They're going to have a ton of factories. And we're just going to try to build as many tanks as possible. And until then, I guess we're just going to wait until something happens. So we're basically going to go down industry tree, just get all of this first. Then we're going to go to get the naval effort because we need some ships for Finland. And then we go down this tree. Eventually we'll go down the neutral tree over here because of that the military factory construction speed. That's pretty important, so we'll try to get that as soon as we grab Estonia. And then we're going to only build military factories, and that's when we start building tanks. Alright, so we got that bonus. We're going to go ahead and get construction 2, speed up our construction on our... Oh, we forgot to do this. We need our division here, so we need to prioritize the equipment, make sure they get the equipment, and we need to get this guy out as soon as possible so we can start cheesing our way into the army experience. And the higher the experience we have, we can then upgrade our tanks and make them even stronger. And I think the tank we have to build, I think it's going to be this one, the medium SP artillery one. Because if we wait for the second one, we might not have time to build them. We need to build a lot of them. Every division needs to have 2 or 3 of these. And so we might have to settle with this one and just upgrade it with all our experience. 56 soft attack is a lot worse than 72, but this is a big difference in time. Right around here, Germany starts invading. And so we don't have much time after that. Be picky. Alright, so now we have some points. We're going to go ahead and go free trade. So interesting thing about free trade is the research time. I think that's just completely unmatched. Unless you have a lot of resources, you want to go free trade. If you look at the resources on the map, I don't know which one it is. Resource. 2 silver, 3 silver, 3 silver. That's nothing. That's 1 civilian factory. Absolutely nothing. I mean, if you're Berlin or if you're Germany, I mean, just look at everything. I mean, there's no way you're going free trade. I mean, you never need to trade in your life if you're Germany. Even if you're France or Italy or Turkey or Greece or the Soviets. I mean, you have so many resources that, of course, you're not going to go free trade, but we have none. So we have no penalty, and we basically gain free research and free construction speed. So we're going to go ahead and do that immediately. Try to speed up our research for our industry stuff. Okay, just going to add another civilian factory. So I don't know how we can unequip one of these guys. I guess we can't really do anything. We just gotta wait for this to go through, and then we start messing with the divisions. Because if we start doing that too early, then these guys will reinforce, and we won't have enough manpower to get this guy out. So we have to wait. Because if we get 5 divisions compared to 4, we'll get more experience doing this cheese, if you will. We're also going to go heavy artillery. So we're basically going to do this guy, and then maybe this guy eventually. So rocket artillery, improved artillery 2, get that artillery tank, and then we're going to get some, I think, Marines. These are pretty strong units, plus we need to naval invade Finland. And all this stuff is going to cost a lot of experience, so we really need to get that stuff going as soon as possible. So I'm going to cut the video, and then it's only going to be like a second for you, but we're going to see what happens when our next unit comes out. Alright, so our research finished. We don't want to get construction 3. That's a huge penalty, though I've done it before and just beeline construction, and there is some good parts to it. The penalty is just too high. I mean, this gets you like an extra factory, but it's just too much. I'd rather have 2 extra doctrines researched. So we're gonna go ahead and do doctrines. The cool thing about doctrines is you never get a penalty for being ahead. So you can beeline this. And, I mean, the faster you do this, the better, because the deeper you are in the doctrines, the more bonuses you get, and you never get a penalty. I mean, if I went tanks to try to get our special tank out quicker, we're gonna eventually get our penalty, like right here. Right? So there's no real point getting to this as soon as possible because we still have to wait 2 years. While if we get right here in a year, somehow, we're not going to get a penalty right here. So I'm just going to beeline doctrines. We have 4 years, so we're going to take advantage of our time. So we're not going to rush anything that doesn't need to be rushed. So we got that. Immediately you're going to get this. So the big thing about this is max factories in state plus 20%. This is the big thing for us. An extra factory slot is absolutely imperative here. Because eventually we're going to max out. And we can't do anything because we can't expand. Because we're not fascist. We're neutral. We're neutral in this. Our unit is almost done. So I'll cut back until it is done. Alright, so our unit just finished. We're going to now cancel this. We're not going to create any more people for a long time. So we have 20 experience. If you look, from exercise daily, 0.083 daily. Let's add 1. 0.093 daily. 0.102. 0.111. 0.12. So if you do the math, you end up breaking even pretty quickly, and you do make a profit doing experience. So we're gonna keep going until this whole thing is completely full of divisions, and we're gonna make as much experience as possible. Alright, quickly grab another research. Penalty's too high, so we're kind of done between these 2 tabs. Now we're just gonna try to get all the things that can maximize our time. So if we start building artillery right now, so we're going to eventually get a second military factory. If we start getting this artillery, which that's going to be what we are research, then our factory can start pumping it out, and it can get that efficiency all the way up. And we're going to eventually need a lot of just shitty artillery, and the level 1s are going to be fine, because once we conscript all our women, children, and old people, because we'll have to against the Soviets. Okay, 1 second, which one are we going to grab? So I like to grab the political power gain plus 5% here. It's basically free political power, so it has a return of 150 divided by 0.1 a day. Do the math, whatever that is. 1,500 days, something like that. So that's like 5-year return. Something like that, 4-year return. That's good to me, so we'll grab that quicker rather than later. Anyway, so we'll need that extra artillery to fill in our lines. We need that soft attack. Alright, so now we basically just, whenever we get more experience, we add another division or battalion, whatever they are. And we just keep making more factories. Okay, we got that. Get more infrastructure. Okay, so we need to be efficient here. So Vidzeme, we're getting 3 infrastructure. And so we just need that 1 more. And so let's prioritize this and then prioritize this. And the faster, we probably should have done that earlier. Could have thought that through a bit better. So we want to get this done and then start building factories, because that's going to be max efficiency. Now, true, there is the penalty of being in the civilian economy. You get that minus, plus 30% to creating the building, while you don't if you make infrastructure. So there's, I mean, you could argue that it's better to build all the infrastructure first, wait until you can get that bonus from going partial mobilization, because once it hits 15%, we're getting this as soon as possible, because that means more factories. Because it's going to be a long time until we get war economy or total mobilization, excuse me. Because we're not going to war for a long time. Anyways, let's cut back to it until something happens. We're just going to keep adding these guys. As you can see, we got some more there. Got some more there. Alright. Alright, so we just finished researching artillery. So we're going to start producing that. Now the question is, what do we research next? If we research this, we're not going to gain anything. It doesn't do anything for us because we can't research this for like 2 years anyways. And we're not going to war, so this does not matter in the slightest. So I think the main thing would be to start researching, I think, tanks and start getting this underway. Because we want to be here in 1.76 years at the minimum. And so that's 2 years, that's 1 year. So yeah, if we start researching tanks right now, we're going to hit that medium tank 1 just in time. And we might actually want to go for the medium tank 2, because what we can do, we have a bonus in our tree, if I can find it, right here, armor effects. We get that 50% research bonus for armor technology. So the earlier we do that, the better. Now the thing is, if we do that, we'd have to skip a lot of this stuff, because that takes 70, 140, 21, so 28, 280, is that 350, 420, 490, so that's a year and a half. So if we start, alright, so we basically have to skip these 3, and we just speed our way to armor effect. And that means the moment we arrive here, we can start researching this, and then this. And this will be our final guy. We're going to upgrade him with as much army experience as possible. So we're going to get this soft attack all the way up, get that defense up, reliability up. We're going to spend it all. So that's going to be our goal here. This is a little bit different than what I normally do. I normally just grab these 3 because that's pretty useful. But the thing is, we have nothing to create. We really don't. Because by the time we do go to war, all this infantry equipment is just garbage. This artillery is going to be kind of garbage. So it doesn't really matter to us that much. We need those tanks. As many of those tanks as we can get. So we finished that research. Now, we need to get more factories in our state. Because around the time we get this fully researched, we're going to be at our cap. We'll have no more factories we can build. And we have no more land to get until the tension gets up there. So we need to get that. Because otherwise our factories will be doing nothing. So, big penalty, but we have to do it. Don't have a choice as a small country with no way to expand right now. Okay, so now we got some political power. The question is, what do we get? If the war tension was higher, we could get partial mobilization, but it's not. I think whenever Japan invades China, it goes to about 15%. Sometimes it gets stuck at 14%, and it makes me mad, but should be fine. So we're going to go ahead and get this, because we're already researching doctrines, and experience is very nice. And we got 5 more experience, so we're going to go ahead and grab 1 more of these. Let's just do this. I guess we could do artillery. Don't think it's going to make much of a difference. I guess we'll see. Well, we get more. Don't know if it's more or less if we got infantry, but I guess it doesn't matter. Okay, and now we just kind of wait till we build some more stuff. Alright. I think we're going to go ahead and actually build the infrastructure because we're so close to getting that partial mobilization bonus that I'd rather just wait. I think it's more efficient to do it that way. Alright, so anti-Comintern pack. Comintern. Basically, do you want to ally with Germany? If you were going fascist, maybe. If you weren't going the route we're going, you'd join it. I mean, all sense would lead you to believe you'd want to join it. But that would be too easy. We're staying neutral, and we will not join the communists. We will not join the Axis, nor the Allies. We are neutral. Latvia first. So we're going to go ahead and refuse. Now, the question is, do we want to join with Poland? Now, the thing is, if we join Poland, I mean, Poland is pretty shitty, let's be honest. I mean, the only way Poland can survive is if the entire Baltics unite and the Allies attack Germany. Otherwise, Poland will fall. He can't deal with it. So we probably don't want to ally with him unless Germany doesn't attack him. Now, Poland does have a focus. Oh, I actually don't have a focus on researching. That's kind of stupid. Okay, and a research. Should have done that before unpausing. Okay, so what do we need? We had that extra research spot. So we're just going to keep doing the doctrines. We're never going to stop that. Never going to stop the armor. Artillery doesn't matter right now. I guess we could do that ahead of time. Let's get it out of the way, make sure we can research that immediately. So I guess we'll do that. Because there's nothing really else we'd really need to do. I guess we could get support equipment and start crafting that, because that doesn't get old. Whatever that support equipment is, that's it. So you can just start stocking up, because we'll need a lot of those. So maybe that's actually better. But we don't have any factories, so it doesn't matter. I guess. So we're gonna go ahead and add another division here. So right now at 0.167 from exercising, so that's a total of 0.217 daily. So that's a lot. That really is a lot. Like Einstein said, the strongest thing in the universe is exponential. I totally butchered his quote, but it's whatever that quote was regarding exponential growth. Compound interest. Strongest force in the universe is compound interest. There you go. The moment we hit 150 political power, we're going to save it, because we're going to get to 15% very soon. And we need to get that extra speed going. Alright, and now we would just wait. Okay, so we just finished secret weapons. Now, we need to pause one of our researches. This one doesn't matter so much. And we need to research this right away. We need to get that research time. Speeds up our industry, speeds up our tanks. Basically speeds up everything that matters, because a lot of things don't matter for us at this time. Infantry weapons, they don't matter for us right now, so we don't even need to bother with that. We don't need to bother with this. Don't need to bother with this for a couple years. But the things that do matter, we need that faster. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this. And our extra experience. Getting up there. And we're going to go ahead and wait until Japan declares, I guess.